This man was the leader of the Soviet Union. He alone was responsible for the deaths of millions of his own people and completely changed the history of the 21st century with his reign of terror. He was born in 1878 in Georgia, which was in the interior of the Russian Empire. His mother was an Orthodox Christian and always wanted her son to become a priest, but the little boy had other plans. When he grew up, he went to the capital of Georgia to work and began to come into contact with Marxist ideas. In 1901, he joined the Social Democratic Party and began to organize protests against the Tsar, even being arrested during one of them. After leaving prison, he began to gain a lot of popularity and impressed even Vladimir Lenin, who was the leader of the party. The boy, called Joseph, was very good at organizing protests and getting support for the party, as well as being known for his tactics of raising money for the communist cause, with Joseph even robbing banks and kidnapping people, thus earning the nickname the Man of Steel, or in Russian, Joseph Stalin. In 1917, Stalin was already among the most powerful men in the Communist Party, even owning a newspaper. With the fall of the Tsar and the Russian Revolution, Stalin took advantage to gain more power, especially after the Bolshevik victory in the Russian Civil War, where Stalin got the post of General Secretary of the Communist Party in 1922. He used his position to begin defaming and attacking his political enemies, chief among them, Leon Trotsky. After Lenin's death, many in the Communist Party thought that Trotsky would be the successor and leader of the Soviet Union, but few knew that Stalin was acting behind the scenes, and shortly afterward, Trotsky and other political enemies were purged and killed, leaving a clear path for Stalin to become the new dictator of the Soviet Union. Stalin tried to modernize the Soviet Union, creating several 5-year plans in addition to collecting land, taking land from peasants, and transforming them into collective farms. Both of these policies resulted in failure, with many factories being unproductive and the farms generating little food creation, which led to the deaths of millions of people, with Stalin even using this food shortage to kill enemies of the regime in regions that were against the dictator. Stalin created a personality cult where everyone had to worship him, something that made him very paranoid of everyone around him. He killed everyone he thought was against him, carrying out a general purge in the Soviet Union, including his own army, and sending several people to gulags. In 1939, Stalin made a pact with Hitler, thinking that he would be safe from a possible Nazi invasion against the Soviet Union. But 2 years later, Hitler invaded the Soviet Union, which had an unprepared army because of Stalin's purge, which killed the best generals and officers. The Germans even invaded the main Russian cities such as Moscow and Stalingrad, but with the help of the Allies, Stalin and the Red Army managed to expel them. After the fall of Hitler and the Allied victory in the Second World War, Stalin used the territories he retook from the Nazis and transformed them into satellite countries which would serve as an iron curtain against the forces of the United States and NATO. Over time, Stalin became increasingly paranoid, even torturing several personal doctors because of a fear that they would poison him. In 1953, he had a heart attack, and after a few days, the most powerful man in the Soviet Union, and perhaps one of the most powerful in the world, dies alone and hated by his own people because of the barbarities committed by him.